Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades and welcome to another video. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a couple of fairly inexpensive safes that you can pick up to keep your valuables secured. This safe right here you can buy at Harbor Freight, and this one you can get on Amazon. So let's get right into this video. And welcome back. So yes, we got a couple of safes to go over here today, but before we do, as per the usual, I got to ask you to go down, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you ring that notification bell so that you get notified of upcoming videos, and then hit me in those comments if you're liking this kind of content. Let me know in those comments down below, and I will certainly try to do more of it. All right, so what have we got here today? I've got two safes that are very similar in style, size, function, and price. And we're going to compare these two safes. Now, you can buy this safe on Amazon. It runs right around $140. This safe over here I picked up at my local Harbor Freight store. And so we're going to compare these two safes. I'm going to tell you the differences between the two, what I like about each, and what I don't like about each. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the similarities of these two safes because they're very similar in a lot of respects. First and foremost, let's talk about the price. Both these safes are under 150 bucks. So they're very affordable, very economical, and they're actually both a very good way to keep your valuables safe. Another thing about both of these safes is neither one of these safes is fire rated. They are just a steel locking box. They will do absolutely nothing to protect your valuables inside from a fire. However, this safe does have a little bit of added fire security, and we'll talk about that later. Both these safes are pretty much identical in size. Harbor Freight calls this safe a 1.5 cubic foot safe. Blacksmith, which is the company that provides this safe, calls this safe a 2 cubic foot safe. But when you measure them, they're pretty much identical in size. So I'm not going to say that anybody's lying or anybody's got their numbers wrong. But if you pull out a tape measure, they're almost identical in size as far as what the capacity is capable of. Both these safes are made out of steel. They are metal. They're not plastic in any way, shape, or form. Both these safes are battery-operated keypad. They will both take up to 8 digits. The difference here is this safe also has a biometric capability, i.e. it'll read your fingerprint. And both safes also have a key backup system. So if your batteries do die, you can get into both of these safes. Additionally, and finally, both of these safes have absolutely no way whatsoever of keeping water out of them. All right, so first let's talk a little bit about this safe from Blacksmith. So what have we got here? So this company advertises this safe as a 2 cubic foot safe. What I don't know is if this safe is actually California compliant as far as the California laws are concerned as far as for securing weapons. There is nothing in the advertising whatsoever that says this safe is California compliant. You'll have to make that decision for yourself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is legal to use in California as far as gun storage is concerned. What this safe does have is it's got all steel construction. It is recessed door, and the hinges are hidden inside, so you can't take the hinges off or cut the hinges off when the safe is closed. It has a keypad entry system here, which will take anywhere from 3 to 8 digits to allow you to open the door. It also has a key backup, which I think pretty much every safe ever made has got a key backup of some sort. And it also, this one has a biometric capability onto it, where you can actually program this little button in the middle here to read a fingerprint, to make accessing the safe a little easier for you or anybody else that you program to have their fingerprint in here. So once you go ahead and 1234 is the factory setting code on this thing to get into the safe. And once you get into this safe, you have a fairly spacious area in here. The one thing I don't like about this safe is this safe does not have adjustable shelves. It is just a removable shelf. Now, I think they've got other safes in their lineups that are adjustable, but this one is not. You can either put the shelf in or take it out. So you don't have the capability of making any kind of an adjustment here. You've got 3 locking bolts here. They're 3/4 inch steel. They're all kind of lined up right here. Not too sure if I'm a huge fan of that. I would prefer that they either spread the locking bolts out over the whole length of the door rather than focusing them all in the middle here. But this door is made out of 564 steel, not quite 3/16, and it seems fairly rigid. I can't twist or bend the door or anything like that. So, I mean, it does seem like it's fairly rigid, but I would rather that they had the locking bolts spread out a little bit. The battery access door is on the back side of this safe here. It takes standard AA batteries, and setting this safe up is actually very, very simple. The hinges are, like I said before, are inside here, so they're tamper-resistant hinges. With the door being recessed, it does have some level of pry resistance. Now, before you trolls get out there and start hammering away on your keyboard, you keyboard warriors out there and say, these safes are junk, you shouldn't buy them. Look, no safe is completely safe. All a safe does is it slows them down. It's a deterrent. If you have a highly motivated individual, they're going to get into your safe. I don't care who made it. Unless you got a full-blown bank vault in your basement, no safe is going to be completely secure. I know these aren't the highest quality safes, but for $150, they're a whole lot better than a poke in the eye with a frozen carrot. And at the end of the day, these safes are only designed to do one thing, and that's slow thieves down. Which brings me to another point about this safe, is it does have holes in it where you can anchor this thing down to a wall, or it has holes in the floor so you can anchor this thing down to a floor or a concrete base or whatever. And they give you anchors to do that with. So what you're going to do is when you set this safe up, you're going to anchor to the floor, you're going to anchor to the wall, and you're going to make it that much more difficult for a thief to just pick this safe up and leave with it. Along with this safe, with the actual safe itself, what do you get with it? Well, you get a set of keys, you get some anchor bolts here, you quite obviously get some instructions, an instruction booklet, which is actually quite decent. You know how I am with instructions if you watch my channel at all. You get a USB-C cord. I'll tell you about that later on, what that's for. And you get a fireproof bag. You can put things like passports or cash or things in this, and this bag is actually supposed to provide you with some level of fire protection. How much it is, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and test it, but they do give you some kind of fire protection with this little bag that they provide you. Kind of a nice little feature. I kind of like that they did that. But that's what you get with the safe. Overall, the construction of the safe seems fairly decent. Like I said, this thing's not Fort Knox. This is basically just to slow thieves down. And like my father used to say when I was a kid, it's not going to do anything but keep the honest honest and to slow a thief down who's in a hurry to get in and out of your house as quickly as possible. The battery access for this safe is on the back side, just like the Harbor Freight safe is. This battery cover is actually very easy to get into. You just slide it to the rear and you have access to your batteries right here. Blacksmith does give you 4 AA batteries. Both these safes do have an indicator on there that tells you if the battery is low or not. The one thing I noticed right away with the Harbor Freight safe is that when you take the batteries out, it loses all the key codes. And then you have to go in and you have to reset all of the passwords, or you have to reset the combination, I should say. This safe doesn't do that. This safe from Blacksmith will actually hold the key codes and the fingerprints for up to 30 minutes. So if your batteries go dead, or if you remove your batteries and they're out or dead, or they're not providing any power for longer than 30 minutes, everything will go back to the factory reset on this safe. So they do give you some time. I mean, you could actually physically run to the grocery store and pick up batteries and come back, and the codes should still be all stored inside of the computer. The one thing you do need to know is the reset button on this one, or the button that you need to actually set the code on this safe, is located inside of the battery door. And it's not very well marked, but it is right here. You just got to go ahead and push it. It doesn't even really look like a button, but at the end of the day, it is a button. But that is your reset right there. So to set the code on this safe, you go ahead and just push the reset button, and it beeps twice, and you could punch in your code. up to 8 digits, hit the pound sign, it says in, that means your code has been accepted. So now the safe is locked, I can't get into the safe. Now you just punch in the code and the safe is open and you can go ahead and you can access the safe. Now to set the fingerprint function on this safe, you have to push in 01, and you actually have to go in and open the door and push the reset button. And then it says FP in, and then you can go ahead and you can put your fingerprint on there 5 times. And once it's done, it beeps twice at you, and now the fingerprint has been added. And now the fingerprint works to get your safe door open. Another very interesting feature about this safe that I thought was actually very well thought out and was quite intuitive of the company to make was they give you a USB-C cord. And in the instructions, it doesn't tell you anywhere what this USB-C cord is all about, but it does say it on the Amazon website what this USB-C cord is about. This is an external power supply. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, your batteries go dead and you can't find your keys. Well, now you can't get into your safe without destroying the safe. So they give you this USB-C cord as a backup power source. And right down here at the bottom of the handle here is a slot that you can go ahead and you can insert this USB-C code or cord to, and then you can plug this into any iPhone or USB plug-in adapter to plug it into your wall. You probably need an extension cord because this isn't very long, and it will actually supply power to this keypad so that you can go ahead and you can get into and access this safe via an external power source. That I thought was a really cool feature, something that a lot of companies wouldn't have thought of, and I'm very impressed that they did think about this. Certainly not a feature that the Harbor Freight safe does not have, along with the biometrics, which the Harbor Freight safe does not have. Those are some really cool features that this safe has that I'm very impressed about. All right, now we're going to talk about the Harbor Freight safe a little bit. Harbor Freight advertises this as a 1.5 cubic foot safe. It also has an 8-digit code capability. It also has a key backup system on it. Again, this door on this safe is recessed and the hinges are hidden. They're not accessible unless the door is open. And so it does have a certain level of pry resistance on it. And it's actually not a bad little safe for what it is. So to go ahead and we're going to just open up the door on this one. To open it, you have to actually turn this knob at the top before you go ahead and turn the handle to get into the safe. And this is the inside of the safe. Now, like I said, it's about the same as far as room size is concerned on this safe. Along with this safe, again, you get an instruction manual. You get the caster wheel set to mount the casters on this thing. The one thing I don't understand about this safe is this safe requires C-cell batteries. Who in the hell uses C-cell batteries anymore? I actually had a hard time finding C-cell batteries. Again, this safe has a shelf on it. The thing I like about this safe shelf is this safe shelf is actually adjustable. You have these little tracks on the inside here that you can use to basically adjust your shelf to any height that you want to. Kind of really like that. Again, 564 steel. It's pretty much the same steel that is used in the blacksmith safe. The thing that I like about this safe is not only does it use 3/4 inch locking bolts, but it's got 3 3/4 inch locking bolts spread out throughout the size of the door. There's one on the top, one on the front here, and then there's also one on the side or on the bottom, which makes, in my opinion, a better locking system on this safe. Again, like I said, they're 3/4 inch bolts, just like the other one. They just spread them out over the overall size of the door. And I really like that about this safe. The one thing that I don't like about it with this safe is that inside of this battery cover where the batteries are, there was actually parts missing. The spring for the batteries on this side of the battery door was missing. So there's supposed to be a spring or something at the top here like there is on the bottom of this side. In fact, I'll pull these batteries out. But it was completely missing out of the battery case. So I had to improvise just to get this safe to operate. And I actually took and I used a ring from a keychain to just kind of shove it up there to make the connection so that I could actually make the battery system on this work. And it was really actually kind of irritating. You can see on the bottom here, there's a spring on the bottom here that I do believe should also be at the top here, but it's not. So I had to do, and I'll be taking this safe back to Harbor Freight as a result of this, because there are pieces missing out of this. And if this is the quality that they're going to provide for this safe, I don't know that I really want this safe in my home, or that I would recommend it, just because, I mean, that's a very simple thing. The other thing that they don't do is in the instruction book, they don't tell you that this requires C-cell batteries. It just says put batteries in it. And had I seen that on the box, that would have probably been a deterrent for me. I wouldn't have bought this safe because it uses what I would consider an obsolete battery. The other thing that I don't really like about it is this battery cover is actually really difficult to function and operate to get it apart. So it almost sounds like it's going to break when you're putting it on and off of the box here. So you could see it kind of really sticks here, and you just got to lift it up, and it's really stuck in there. It finally came off, and it almost sounds like it's going to break every time you open and close this battery box. So I'm not horribly impressed with that. The overall construction of this safe, I know it's an inexpensive safe, but it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of thought put into the little things to make you confident in the fact that this safe is actually going to do what it needs to do. Additionally, with this safe does have holes in it, like the blacksmith safe does in the back, to go ahead and secure this to a wall. It has holes in the floor, 2 of them, so that you can secure this thing to the floor. But what they don't do is they don't provide you with any kind of anchors. You have to provide your own anchors. Overall, I mean, the safe quality and construction looks pretty nice. Looking at the hinges look like they're actually pretty nice hinges. They're fairly solid, and they're welded in pretty nicely. No more or less adequate than the hinges that you get from the Union or the blacksmith safe. But they are pretty decently constructed hinges. I like the fact that they put the instructions on how to set the code right here on the back side of the door. So to set the code on this safe, there's a red button right here, which is kind of hard to see, but it's there. To set the code on this, you have to push and hold this red button until the safe beeps. The proceed light is lit, which means now you can go ahead and proceed to putting in your code. So then you could just punch in your code, and then you have to pick a letter, A or B, and that sets your code. Now your code is set in the safe, so we'll go ahead and we'll relock the safe, punch in our code. You have to hit the same letter. It's ready, entry, and then you can get into your safe. Now it just a few seconds, and it automatically goes back into locked mode. So when you go ahead and you close the safe and turn this dial, the safe is now locked. You can't get into it. So overall, between the 2 safes, which one would I recommend? Well, to be honest with you, I would actually absolutely recommend the blacksmith safe over the Harbor Freight safe. I like the features, the biometrics, the alarm system, the fact that they took the time to give you the little bit of extras, the extra batteries. They give you the backup power cord. They give you the anchors to anchor this thing down. Just little things like that make me much more appreciative of the blacksmith safe over the Harbor Freight safe. And the only gripe I really have about the blacksmith safe is the fact that the shelf is not adjustable, and that they didn't spread the locking bolts around the perimeter of the door to distribute the locking mechanism. The Harbor Freight safe, not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. You don't need all this extra business down here for casters because it's not that heavy. You really don't need casters to roll it around with. The fact that the battery compartment seems like it's missing parts, that the battery they didn't fit in there. I think it was missing a spring. Not sure. Don't know where it went. The things I do like about the Harbor Freight safe is that they did spread the locking bolts around. The shelf is completely adjustable inside of the safe, but they didn't give you any kind of anchors. They just kind of left that up to yourself. They're using an oddball sized battery. Just not overly impressed with the Harbor Freight safe. So let's give the blacksmith safe say 3 3/4 stars, maybe even 4 stars. The Harbor Freight safe, you'd be lucky to get 3 stars out of this. I might even say 2 3/4 stars. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope this video was informative to you. I hope it was helpful to you. I would have no problem whatsoever recommending the blacksmith safe if you're just looking for a fairly inexpensive option to store things. This would probably be a really good safe for, say, a camper or maybe an apartment building or something like that. Somebody who's working on a budget, this would be a very adequate safe to do exactly what you need it to do, which is just to secure your valuables and become a little bit more of a deterrent to those thieves who might want to part you from your stuff. But overall, at the end of the day, I think the blacksmith safe is actually a pretty good buy. It's well worth the money. So I would go ahead and say if you're working on a budget and you're looking for a safe like this, don't be afraid to go ahead and pick it up. With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative, maybe even a little bit entertaining. And if you're liking these kind of videos, make sure you go down and hit that like and subscribe button. With that, we will see you on the next video.